Court will now reconvene. Mr. Payne, please call your witness.
This next person is someone who witnessed the crime as it happened. The prosecution calls Miss Dahlia Hawthorne to the stand.
What's with this stiff silence?
In my long career as a judge, I have been deceived by many witnesses. It's my job to doubt, to take no one at their word. But in your case, I must admit that you radiate a glow of complete sincerity.
I can't believe he actually said that.
Oh, now then, witness. Could you please state your full name?
Don't worry, sweetie. There's no need to be nervous.
If anyone says anything rude, you can be sure I'll cut them right down to size.
And I will bash them with my gavel.
I love how they look straight at me when they say that.
Thank you for calming my nerves. You were all so nice. I almost feel right at home.
Not at all.
It was nothing.
If we may move on now, what is your full name and occupation?
My name is Dahlia Hawthorne. I'm a junior in literature at Ivy University. I just want to say, it's an honor for me to be here in your noble presence.
The honor is all mine.
No, the honor's all mine.
Well, we know whose milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
Sir?
Is there something I can help you with?
You just go on and say whatever's on your mind.
I'm sure that there must be some kind of mistake. Pheonix wouldn't kill anyone. I just know it.
Yes. I can see why you'd say that.
She's gonna be a tough witness, alright. It only took her 12 seconds to wrap them all around her little finger.
Now then, please proceed with your testimony. Let's hear about what you witnessed on the day of the incident, if you please.
I had been planning to go back to Pheonix's place after class was over. Pheonix and Dougie, they were talking behind the building. Then suddenly, Dougie got all wobbly and just collapsed. That's when Pheonix noticed I was there. I went to go and find some other students and they called the authorities.
I don't know what to say. According to you, Miss Hawthorne, the defendant didn't do anything wrong.
Objection! Young lady, as old as I am, even I recall how hot the flames of young passion can burn. Nevertheless, it is my job to discover the truth. Please, tell us the truth.
But I would never.
Hold it! That's more than enough, witness. I won't allow this to continue.
What do you mean by that?
Please, just let me proceed with my cross-examination, Your Honor. I, for one, don't plan to win my case on a bunch of paper-thin lies.
You haven't changed a bit, Mia Fey.
What's this? So, you two are acquainted?
Yes, we've met before, once.
In any case, Miss Fey, the floor is all yours.
It's good to see you again, Madame Fey.
Madame? I'm no one's grandma yet, girlie.
I had been planning to go back to Pheonix's place after class was over. Pheonix and Dougie, they were talking behind the building. Then suddenly, Dougie got all wobbly and just—
Hold it! Are you saying that the victim just collapsed on his own?
Yes?
In other words, the defendant never touched the victim. Is that right?
I was watching the whole time. Pheonix never did a thing to Dougie.
If I press her for no good reason, I just know the judge will get angry with me. So what should I do about her testimony just now? Feeble lies are not very becoming, Miss Hawthorne, so let's drop them, shall we?
What? I would never.
Objection! Miss Fey, I will not allow you to badger this witness. I believe the defense is engaged in a fishing expedition. That is, she has no supporting. Please don't glare at me like that. I'm just doing my job.
Now then, Miss Hawthorne. The defendant's palm print was found on Mr. Swallow's leather jacket. It has already been shown that Mr. Wright did, in fact, push the victim.
What?
There's no need to try to cover for the defendant. it would be much better if you came out and told us the whole truth.
There's nothing to worry about, young lady. Just tell us everything that you saw.
Yes, Your Honor. I will, if you don't mind. I'd like to revise my testimony.
Looks like we're finally getting somewhere.
Actually, I didn't see the moment he pushed Dougie. It didn't look like they were fighting, and I didn't hear any noise either.
Objection! You say you didn't hear any noise. Is that correct?
Yes, that's why I was very relaxed looking at the scenery around me.
That's nice, but I find that just a little odd. I have here the testimony of your boyfriend, Mr. Pheonix Wright, and he clearly testified to the effect that when he pushed the victim, he heard a sharp, loud noise.
He said that?
If you were really that close to the two of them, why didn't you hear this noise as well?
Objection! Well, maybe the noise just wasn't all that memorable.
Objection! But according to Mr. Wright's testimony, it was a sharp noise like a snap. There's no way a noise like that could fail to make an impression.
May I have a moment to answer?
But by all means.
I know the reason why I didn't hear the noise. You see, the truth is, I had my headphones on and was listening to music at the time.
Headphones? You mean that both of your ears were covered?
The rain was just beginning to let up, but it seemed as though Thor wasn't ready for his fun to come to an end yet, so the sky continued to flash and rumble.
Thunder and lightning, huh?
Yes, I'm afraid of the sound of thunder, so I put my headphones on to block it out.
Well, Your Honor, as you can see, there weren't any contradictions in her testimony after all.
Wait a sec, Mia. That testimony just now, she said something that could totally change this whole case. Your Honor, there's a problem with the witness's testimony.
What do you mean?
Didn't you notice? She said there was lightning, correct?
Yes, what about it?
Well, lightning is actually a large discharge of electricity in the atmosphere. Am I right?
Now's not the time for science lessons, Miss Faye.
Yes, Your Honor. Anyway, since the cause of death was electrocution, isn't it possible that the victim died from being hit by a bolt of lightning?
Oh! I must admit that the thought had not occurred to me.
Just what kind of thoughts do occur to this guy anyway? This entire case is built on the premise that Mr. Doug Swallows was murdered. But that very premise itself is mistaken. The defense believes that Mr. Swallow was, in fact, the victim of a stray bolt.
It appears the defense may be onto something. Could it be that the death was actually accidental?
All right, you did it, Mia. I'll be taking that not guilty now if you don't.
Objection! I'm hurt you have such a low opinion of me, Miss Faye.
Huh?
I'm not a fool, you know. The prosecution has done its research, Your Honor. We found that there were no lightning strikes on that day at that location.
What?
What's more, we have evidence that the electrical cable is definitely linked to this case.
Evidence, Mr. Payne? Well, what is this evidence?
This affidavit.
And who is this affidavit from?
The pharmacology students who were conducting experiments in their labs that day. Allow me to read out to the court the testimony of the pharmacology students. All equipment in the lab lost power all of a sudden at around 3 p.m. that day.
Was it a blackout?
All of the lab's equipment runs at high voltage, Your Honor.
So you're saying the equipment lost power because...
Precisely. They lost power because of the severed electrical cable. The power outage occurred at approximately 3 p.m.
Which fits with the time of death listed in the autopsy report.
Exactly. In other words, the victim died as a result of touching the severed electrical cable. According to the students, the cables were very old. They were planning on having them replaced in the near future.
I see.
Apparently, the cables had become so brittle that even the smallest bump would have caused them to break.
However, there is one thing that troubles me. If the cable could have been broken by any small bump, then it wouldn't have snapped if it hadn't been bumped into, correct?
Well, I suppose you could say that.
Miss Faye, do you have any thoughts regarding the cause of the severed cable?
Your Honor, I don't like how this is looking one bit. I have to come up with something to try to regain some momentum. If it pleases the court, the defense would like to state its opinion.
Well then, let's hear it. Who or what was it that caused the cable to break?
Take that! Your Honor, think back to Mr. Wright's testimony.
The defendant's testimony?
He said that after he pushed the victim, he heard a loud, sharp noise. Now, this happened around 3 p.m., correct?
Yes, that sounds right. Wait, are you saying that?
The lab equipment lost power at 2:55, which fits right into Mr. Wright's timeline. In other words, it was Mr. Wright's shove that caused the power outage.
Yes, the prosecution also came to that same conclusion. And it was that very shove that caused Mr. Swallow to be electrocuted.
Objection! I'm afraid I can't agree with you there, Mr. Payne.
What's that supposed to mean?
Take a good look at where the victim landed after being shoved. See the umbrella? It's by the electrical pole. That's right. The victim banged into that pole as a result of being pushed. It was that impact that caused the cable to break.
Well, that makes sense. And then the victim was electrocuted.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, but no. It doesn't make sense at all. If the victim was shoved into the far pole, then he couldn't have been electrocuted by this severed cable in the foreground here.
Ah!
In other words, someone other than my client must have electrocuted the victim.
Order! Order in the court!
Ah, the lamentations of my enemy. How I've longed to hear them.
It's true! The defense is absolutely correct. There doesn't seem to be any way the defendant could have done it.
Mr. Judge, sir, may I say something? The Madame Attorney's explanation? She said some things that are a little different than I remember them.
What?
What the?
Please, just once more. May I please just find one last time, please, Mr. Judge?
Of course it's alright. Just go right ahead and give your new testimony.
This is it. She's finally starting to show her true colors. Pheonix. Blah 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 blah. Believe in your client. This is my warm-up for Mia. Yes, indeed. Well, we know whose milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
And they're like, it's better than yours, damn right, it's better than yours.
The defendant's paw print was found. Looks like we're finally going to... Isn't it possible? Oops, I knocked off my pop screen.
Think I got a little overzealous there with my pointing.
The victim of a stray bolt. Then he couldn't Then he couldn't have been electrocuted by the severed cable in the cable. Oh, damn it. Someone other than my client must have electrocuted my victim. The victim.
I went to go and find some other students and they called the authorities. I went to go and find some other students and they called the authorities. I went to go and find some other students, so they But it seemed as though Thor wasn't ready for his fun. Really? She said some things that are a little different than
This is a mic check, and, I'm eating a chicken sandwich. I haven't had dinner yet. So, yeah. Young lady, as old as I am, even I recall how hot the flames of young passion can burn. Or maybe it's that burrito I had for lunch. All of the labs...